Welcome to the FKN Trip Report. This is a brand new segment where I report my experiences with consciousness exploration. These experiences have been brought on mainly by utilizing very high doses of psilocybin mushrooms. Now, if you've followed my story throughout the years, you will have a better understanding of the experiences that I'll be sharing in these episodes. But for those that haven't, I'll give a brief synopsis of my experiences that really started back in 2020. You could say that my story really starts about 2012, but when it comes to my spiritual experiences, those didn't occur until around 2020. It all started with the end of a bad relationship and a restraining order. It was mid-2020 and the COVID fiasco had really just started picking up steam. Forbidden Knowledge News was gaining some popularity. Due to the lockdowns, more people were listening to podcasts. Therefore, more people were discovering the show, and it was around this time that Forbidden Knowledge News really started to pick up some steam and become somewhat successful. Forbidden Knowledge News has been around since 2017, and we have been picking up a pretty good following since then, but it wasn't until that year that everything changed. And it all started one evening with an incredible experience that I've discussed plenty of times on this show, so I won't get into a lot of details about it, but I will say that it was life-changing experience. I had seen something in the sky that resembled flames in a triangular shape while I was talking to a neighbor. Neighbor did not see this, did not even pay attention to the sky. These flames blinked out of existence within a second, and it was very curious to me. Same time, I'm going through a very bad relationship, very bad breakup, restraining order, this chick was crazy, yada yada. So I needed to do something to fix my state of mind, my consciousness. I was very depressed at the time, so I had started meditating unsuccessfully until this evening, when I was able to get into a profound meditative state and make contact with what I now understand as my higher self. That's what I currently understand my contact to be with. The experiences started with this one profound meditative experience where I was given incredible information about how to proceed with my trajectory in what I wanted to do with my career, my life, my spiritual beliefs, my exploration of the unknown. This experience was the beginning of an ongoing, unfolding story that is becoming more and more incredible with each experience. During this first contact experience, I was given instructions on how to proceed if I would indeed like to be on the most optimal timeline possible and come to a greater understanding of what this existence and reality is about. Is there an existence of intelligences beyond what we can perceive, extraterrestrials, ghosts, spirits? How deep do these conspiratorial rabbit holes go? I was instructed I can get answers by continuing these meditative experiences. And for me personally, I was instructed that psilocybin mushrooms would be an incredible doorway and booster for me to have these understandings. So we fast forward a couple of years from this experience, and I'm now living in Colorado. The show is extremely successful. I listened to what I understand is my higher self, and I started utilizing heavy doses of psilocybin mushrooms to get further understanding of reality, of everything. These experiences became more and more profound, and as they unfolded, I gained more and more understanding of some of the messages that were being attempted to be relayed through these experiences. I believe that every single one of us that is beginning to awaken, quote unquote, in this reality is being given messages somehow. Whether it is through your dreams, intuition, are you having contact or abduction experiences, profound paranormal, spiritual experiences, things you can't understand, those are transmissions. And these transmissions come from many different sources, and I believe it comes from nature. And I've come to understand that these messages have been trying to tell not just myself, but a larger collective of individuals that are receptive to the message, something that we have been needing to understand for a very long time, helping us remember who and what we really are and why we are here and what this reality, this experience is. After a series of profound experiences over years' time, this has been at least 2 years of consciousness exploration, very heavy consciousness exploration. I've been pushing myself to go as deep and far as I can with these experiences, with very high doses, heroic doses, if you will, of psilocybin. And each experience I have is a telling of a story, a transmission that will continue where the previous story left off with the next experience. And this has become something that is very incredible. I'm sure you've also may have heard about my experience with a reptilian shapeshifter and an ex-girlfriend. Well, I'll briefly go over this because this is a key factor in some of the things that I've discovered through these experiences. There was a time a little over a year ago where I was with another woman that at the time was living with me, and it was a very interesting relationship, to say the least. But I always had the gut feeling that there was something wrong underlying with the whole thing. I'll tell you this, this is what I've told before, this story of where we were having a psilocybin exploration experience. This was her first time. She did not feel the effects of the mushrooms at all. She took a very large dose. I did. Proceeded to what I thought was do regression and heal some childhood trauma with this person, which actually happened. I was able to retrieve profound childhood memories that were blocked and clear those, and I felt wonderful after. But something else happened during this experience where at the time I thought that some sort of spirit attachment took over my perception and forced me to see this woman that I was with shapeshift into a reptilian entity and chase me around my house. The experience ended with me being told that I was being deceived. There was profound changes in my reality. I ended up throwing up this black viscous substance, and a voice came from within and rumbled and said, "You're being deceived," and then my whole reality snapped back to normal, and I felt incredible. What I originally thought was that she assisted in ridding this entity from my perception. What I now believe is that there was an infiltration into my life by this person who is not necessarily a reptilian entity, but may not have had the best intentions, and I may have seen what is behind her intentions during this experience, and it could be something much deeper that I still don't understand. It could be an Agent Smith type situation, and I'll elaborate a little bit on that. During some of my most recent experiences, like I said, I've gone deep into the astral realms, if you will, during these experiences, and I've been given profound information from my higher self, from the guides outside of this reality. And the only conclusion that I can come to, and many others are beginning to come to this very same conclusion, and already have started discussing this, and it's already permeating through the collective consciousness in certain ways. Well, it probably started much earlier than the dawning of Hollywood with some of your Eastern spiritual practices, but when it comes to our modern society, the Matrix started putting some ideas into the mass consciousness about the state of our reality. During one of my most recent experiences, I reached a level of consciousness, of exploration, to where I had a knowing that there was some sort of firewall surrounding our reality. Some kind of trap or blockage, something preventing me from traveling to a certain point. I've traveled through layers, astral layers, heavenly realms, hellish realms. I've gone up, I've gone down, and these experiences have been incredible, and I've learned so much from every one of them. But this one, I went to such a high level that there was nothing beyond, and it was the most chilling and dark feeling that I had ever had. And then I started hearing what sounded like celebrations that was on the other side of this firewall, just on the other side. People celebrating, our voices, our intelligence celebrating, and saying, "He's going to remember now." I'm like, going to remember what? What am I going to remember? More celebrations. Just the knowing that there was happiness on the other side, because I was supposed to remember something, and I was going to remember something, and I did. I remembered a lot. Now, this episode is an introduction into what I'm beginning to learn. And from what I understand up until this point is we are in a holographic reality. A matrix, if you will. Simulation's a very simple way to put it. But from what I understand, something occurred, and this reality, which is it's a holographic matrix that we created. We made it. It's ours. It's ours, but we let it get infiltrated somehow. You see, for some reason, this This is the only way that we can experience what we understand as reality during this time period. And more information will come out as I go. I'm already speaking with other individuals who are receiving the same messages and information. And we are in the data compilation stages. And we will be presenting more information as it comes to us. But for now, there's a collective understanding amongst a few that I've been speaking with that we are in a false overlay, and that the infiltration goes much deeper than we would ever think. I'll spend the last few minutes on this. This is a very important point for everyone to take away from what's happening right now. The infiltration of whatever this force is goes deep. Now, if you listen to my show, you know I've never been one to come out and say I understand anything about what's going on. Because I've never have. Until now. I'm not going to say I understand everything, because I sure as hell don't. In fact, I probably only have a minute amount more of understanding than when I thought I didn't understand anything. But I'm starting to remember things. And so are some other folks. And I'm hoping that by you hearing this, maybe you'll start to remember something too. If you do remember something, let me know. So where we're at now is with the infiltration. Have you looked around in the truth community and the conspiratorial community lately? Have you noticed how we've never received any proof of anything concrete when it comes to some of the more incredible conspiracies out there? I'm talking extraterrestrials. Of course, I'm talking some of the nefarious Illuminati forces. Some of the current circulating fear campaigns. There has been an infiltration into the truth community to keep folks focused on things that they shouldn't be focused on. And people are getting trapped in these loops, these simulations within a simulations within a simulation, and they're focused on helping people, they're focused on freeing us, they're focused on the truth and getting the truth out there. But they're looking in the wrong directions, and they're bringing the wrong frequency to light. And people get trapped there, and they get stuck there, and they can't get out. They can't see a bigger picture of what's going on. This is what's happening right now. On a very large scale. And it's hitting closer to home than you could ever know. But again, I'll say this, I'm just a crazy conspiracy theorist, and you shouldn't listen to anything that I say. But you should look inside yourselves and ask yourself, does any of what I said make any sense? Does any of what I just said resonate with you? I think it does. And we're going to find out more really soon, because I'll tell you one more thing. I can't stop, but I got to stop. Tell you one more thing. We're going to see a breakdown of reality, and it's already started. It's occurring as we speak. Pay attention to the symbolism around you. Pay attention to symbolism in news stories, to your synchronicities, to the people in your life, to the people you're attracting in your life, to the people you're attracted to those bad, weird feelings, those gut feelings that'll keep you from getting on a plane or keep you getting in a car during a certain time. Pay attention to yourself. Pay attention to your gut instincts. We're in an incredible time right now, and we have true magic. Think of it like the Matrix. When Neo gets plugged in for his training, it's time for our training. I've been going through my training for a couple of years, and I'm just now ready to talk about it. It's time to talk about it. I have to talk about it. It needs to be discussed, and you all should maybe look into it a bit, if it resonates with you. So again, if this makes sense to anyone out there, if it resonates with you, if you've had similar experiences, gotten similar information, let me know. Email is forbiddenknowledgenews@gmail.com. Until next time, everyone, have an excellent evening. We'll talk again Monday.